Hello, ladies and gents, and welcome back to the Tartan Stand. Another European action, another upsetting and obviously positive results. We are here with Kyle, Josh, Darren, and Brian. There's going to be plenty of thoughts going into these games, but how are we, lads? How are we all doing?
Ecstatic, mate. Couldn't be better.
Well, Brian, I think we will obviously start with you because, that was probably the most negative result. What was your thoughts on the match overall?
Garbage. Dreadful. Play like a pub team. McInnes doesn't get his team. Shanklin's overweight. I have to say, McInnes needs to buy players now.
And what about the negatives?
Negatives. we did ahead, mate. I don't know. We've been shocked in our season. We got beat by a team that I cannot even spell. I never came one player.
To be fair, I don't think Kennis will be able to spell that name, mate. That's a bit of a stretch. But also, you did talk about McInnes having to buy players in. Also, a player has potentially failed a medical. Do you believe that?
No. The money we would have got for the Refa Cup, that was for him. Guaranteed it. But he didn't want to join. But then his club came out saying he would have been fit in 3 weeks. But nah. With a shambles of a club.
Obviously, Rangers are 4 games in without a win, like competitive games under Derek McInnes' reign. Is the guy more under pressure than Russell Martin was last season?
I would rather have Russell Martin, doesn't he?
Wow.
That's saying something. At least he can get a win.
Wow. Trenches, is that the word for this, man? Damn.
Fast Shanklin up for last season, he's not turned up. He's literally not turned up. He's still in Edinburgh. So please add Shanklin in Glasgow on Sunday. So no, I'm not happy.
Josh, we will go to you because obviously Hearts were obviously out before they go into the game, but can you take confidence out of that 1-each draw? Could potentially be 2-1 if the VAR if it actually called off a little centimetre of an offside goal. Can you gain confidence going into the Conference League tie against Rapid Vienna?
I think so, 100%. I think Walter, his lineup was correct. I think Benfica still played well. I still think they should have won the game with the chances they had. But overall, I'm happy with the performance. We had a wee glimpse of brilliance from every player. I think every player played a really important part in that draw. And even though we lost 7-2 on aggregate, a draw against Benfica is something we're always going to remember. So 100% going into our next game against Rapid Wien, I think the tables have turned. I think we're favourites for that. People think that they're not as good of a team, but I think they're well within their right to beat us at Tynecastle and at home. But I think we've got the confidence now to go and take it a step further, win the playoff, get Conference League football. Happy days.
Obviously, I did kind of speak about Rapid Vienna there. I did obviously watch them last season. Obviously, a whole season can change. I thought Dundee United were very unlucky not to put them out. But do you think that, favourites going into that game could be a bit of a negative to this Hearts team?
It could, but I believe that every player is ready for it. It's taken a wee bit of time. We've had a lot of hard fixtures, and we're not going to be playing Benfica every single week, thankfully. So I think being favourites is going to boost our confidence, especially a home tie being the first leg. That's brilliant. If we can get a 2-goal advantage going into the second leg, I think that's enough to take them out.
Darren, obviously it was a nothing each draw over in North Macedonia, but there was a lot of complaints about, the style of play last night. But do you think it was like a really mature European performance from Hibs rather than just going all out for the kill? It wasn't the best of performances, but they got the job done. Is that a positive for you?
Aye, I would say so. The game itself was like eye-bleeding stuff watching the game. It was a horrendous game of football. But by the way, that suited us last night. We wanted to go there, get a result. I think people are forgetting, like we spoke about before, some of the conditions they were in. Obviously, it was a kind of eerie atmosphere in that big stadium. There was 30-degree heat. We limited them, really. I mean, they did have quite a few shots, but most of their shots were well outside the box. It was about going over there to defend. I read something today where maybe a wee bit fortunate with their striker got injured in the warm-up. But hey, you take all the breaks, and I think over the 2 legs against this team, we definitely have had the breaks go in our favour. But I'm just pleased to get through. It was one of them. It didn't have to be pretty last night. Just get the job done and get him.
Well, before we actually go into the next question, I just want to give everyone a wee thought here. My pal Leon, Hibs fan, was over in North Macedonia, 11 pints, £8. Absolutely mental. That is some. You need to go to North Macedonia for a large trip if you want to get drunk.
Oh, by the way, the match ticket last night was £4. £4 for the game.
So, and then Celtic and Falkirk, that's like £37. That's money for the fans, man. But obviously, people are obviously against David Gray. I don't know if it's a fine that they just want to be proven right. You know, I don't think he can really win. But do you think David Gray got his tactics spot on, or do you think it was just an eye-bleeding stuff and both teams went at their best?
Well, you can't really criticise him if he's coming out and getting the result again. I mean, that's 3 games in a row now that, well, we've not been amazing. The best bit of football we've played this season was in the second half against Motherwell. And the other 3 games, he's just... We said it before that every single time David Gray's under pressure, he just comes out fighting, and then he comes roaring back with some big statements, and you're just like, all right, well, I'm sorry for doubting you again. Until the next time. I mean, well, like, for example, if we go and get beat by Partick Thistle at the weekend, you'll have everybody doubting them again. Then we'll maybe go and win against Ghent or something. This is the kind of roller coaster that we're on continuously. Got his lineup. I mean, his lineup wasn't a huge surprise. Well, I suppose there was a few changes up front as well, but wasn't massive changes in the team. So you kind of expected what he was going to go out with, especially the players he rested on Sunday. They all came back into the side. He just went and got the job done, and they were never really in danger, and you can't really complain if you can get a 0-0 away for him.
Kyle, obviously Motherwell was the only Scottish team last night to get the victory. Is this European run changing the perception of Motherwell?
Aye, definitely. I feel like I say that every time, but no. Obviously, that's 4 games in Europe so far, 3 wins and 1 draw. Like, we are, I don't want to big us up too much, but we are keeping this Scottish coefficient alive at this moment of time, as we're still the only team unbeaten in Europe. Don't get me wrong, maybe the opponents that we've been up against aren't at our level. I know for a fact Torshavn aren't at our level. Helsinki, kind of similar level, but absolutely bossed them last night, and yet again showing Scotland why we are a force not to be messing with.
To be fair, I know what you said about that Faroe Islands team, but they were actually really decent at home. They've held the likes of Brøndby, etc. So I know Mugs will beat as a tie that Muller still should have went through in. But I don't know if I'm pronouncing his name right. It does look very easy to say, but is it Said or Said, whatever you want to pronounce it? Do you think he could be one of the breakout players this season for Motherwell?
I feel, yeah, because I feel like he was in the shadows last season with like some of the likes in that team, like Elijah Just, Talandamas when he says, like Elliot Watts, just he was kind of in the shadow of like, all the like talented players, and seeing that they've all left, like it's his time to shine now. Because you seen it in the first leg against Helsinki, obviously he had a visa issue and he couldn't travel. He was the missing piece in that team. That's why we only held Helsinki a draw away from him, because I feel like if he was in that team last week, we would have got a win away for him. And then obviously, I don't even need to speak on his performance last night because it was the best I've ever seen from him in a Motherwell shirt, and I'm praying that there's many more to come.
I don't know if you actually know this. I don't know this, but do you think he'll have his visa sorted for Germany, or is that still up in the air?
I think it was just a case of like not getting it done quick enough. So I'm pretty sure that his visa will be fine for Germany. But I couldn't really tell you much about it. But just
it's what I hope for. Brian, we'll go back to you because just like Motherwell, Hearts, and obviously Hibs, you have dropped into the Conference League. I'm trying to turn a negative into a positive here if you're a Rangers fan listening. Do you think this could probably help Rangers?
There's absolutely none. We're dreadful. Absolutely dreadful.
Usually you get to the international break and you reach this stage, you're very deflated and we've not even reached the end of the transfer window.
I don't want to play Celtic before the international break because we'll get battered. Or Aberdeen. That's how bad we are, Snoop. We will get battered by Aberdeen. That's saying something.
What do you think Rangers' biggest problem? Is it the lack of creativity, or is it the defence, or is it the manager, or is it even recruitment on the board? It just feels everything's a mess.
The manager doesn't care his team is. He's playing a right back at left back, and then he changes it halfway through a game and plays a right back and moves the right back up to midfield. I'm like, really? What's going on here? And then against Hibs, he did the same. He played a. I'm like, nah. Please buy some decent players.
Is that down to the recruitment team? But if Jimmy Kinnis can't play the way he can play.
Yeah, isn't there Kevin Thingy's son still near there?
Kevin Phil.
No, his son. I think his son's name, but get rid of him, please. Because with embarrassment, we're in quarterfinals of UEFA Cup last year, 2 years ago. And now we're in the conference. It's a joke. Absolutely joke.
Listen, I know, again, you're going to be so negative in that, but it feels like, like the likes of the Norwegian League, I was going to say the Swedish Bank, the Swedish teams are getting knocked out this season. They've took advantage of the Conference League with coefficient points. They've built the league rep up. That's how, Norway's getting like 2 Champions League spots, etc. I know the way the state of the squad is now, right? But say if you say get Andrew Kavanagh says 3 to 5 signings in by the end of August and things start to click slightly. Do you think this is a competition that Rangers can actually go on to win?
I hope so. I would say our best would be quarterfinals or last 16, but no. The teams in that I can't see us winning. With the players we've got to snare, no.
Do you feel second place is a threat in this league for Rangers?
We want to get second place. I can't see us getting the top 4. I'm being serious. If we don't get players in the door now, I think the league will be over by Christmas.
Well, Josh, obviously your ears must be music to that if, he thinks Rangers will get in top 4. But, what do you think Hearts did differently from the first leg? Like, albeit, he did get thrashed over in Lisbon. Do you think Frank can set his team up differently, or do you think it was just a more mature performance from Hearts to show the confidence levels that they can compete with a European juggernaut?
I think it was a mixture. Last week, we were just not there. None of our players really switched on. Whilst this week, we're seeing, Altena, that's a player that needs to be spoken about. Him on the ball, he's brilliant. Defensively, maybe no the best, but on the ball, he's brilliant. I think him and Miller are very good together, a very good duo. Kind of reminds me of Spittle and Penrice when they were working together, just on the opposite side. But I think it's a mixture between what the manager's done and maybe what the manager said to the players to really focus up. And last night was brilliant. There's no complaints. I don't think any Hearts fan can complain about that. Yeah, we conceded 25 seconds after scoring a goal, but it was overall a great performance. Every player was brilliant. McCart was okay. What's his name? McEntee, he was brilliant. I think he's showing great signs this season. His defensive work is amazing. He's eager. He wants the ball. He wants to get to the ball before anyone else does. And that's what we need. That's what Hearts have been waiting to see over the last few weeks. But we haven't been able to see it because we've been playing teams like Benfica. And last night was a great example of what we could see at Hearts. We play like that against any team in the SPL. We will win the league. We will win the league 100%. We have the team there. It's just whether it is developed right into Walter's system, because we're seeing signs of what he wants with the squad, and I think it's great. I think it's great to see. We're seeing really good football from Hearts again.
Obviously, Keith did go over to Turkey. Do you think Josh McPake or Calvin Miller can step into that role and be a much better player?
Oh, much better. I think I think they're already. I'm already seeing things from both of them that I never saw in Kizarides. Don't get me wrong. His first 4 months last season, he was probably the best player at Hearts. But it's all about staying consistent. And Miller so far has looked like a good apple in a bad tree. Sometimes he's been the best player on the pitch. I mean, that game against Dundee United, playing in left back, he was bloody better than prime Ashley Cole. I mean, he was brilliant. He was all over the pitch. He was up and down, and I think it's just good. It's just good what I'm seeing.
Darren, obviously, I think this is the third consecutive year Hibs will have European, playoff legs. Do you think Hibs really need to take advantage of this now and get into league phase football?
100%. I mean, last year it was kind of gotten the way it went. With obviously kind of even getting into Europe was obviously a little bit fortunate finishing fifth. The funny thing is, you've got the teams that finished fourth and fifth with exactly the same prize as the teams that finished second and third in the league, which is a wee bit satisfying. We're all at the same stage, so it's Scottish football to a T that you spend a whole season, and especially when it's at the end and you're trying to qualify for the Champions League spaces or European spaces, and we've got four of us here all sitting at the exact same stage. But it's going to be really, really tough for Hibs, right? I mean, Ghent are not going to be any pushovers, but realistically, do we have a chance? Could we go across there and play the same as what we did? Obviously, it's going to be a whole different kind of game. But could you get a draw over there first and get them back to our sold at Easter Road? I don't know. I think this is definitely our chance. But like Josh was saying there, I don't know. I'm not going to get excited and say if we get a draw against them, we're going to win the league, because I think we could say that was probably Benfica's reserves last night, or they were the two first. So we can't probably go that far that he's going to win the league with a draw last night. It'd be great if all four clubs got through. I can't see all four clubs getting through though, but it will make. Well, I mean, even that, I'm doubting it. They've probably got the easiest tie, but they've had bad luck stories in Czech Republic in the past, haven't they? So
obviously, I know a lot of people might be thinking, Ghent's going to be a hard opposition. I think a lot of people are actually confused him with Genk. Ghent, don't get me wrong, it's still going to be a difficult tie, but I think it's one that Hibs can obviously capitalise on. To be fair, I don't really see much of a difference between them and Legia or Warsaw, so I think it is going to be kind of an even game. But like you say, do you think Hibs need to get something from the first leg to go into league phase football?
Definitely. I mean, you've seen. Sorry, Josh, to refer back to it, but if you go away and you get absolutely thumped, you're out already. You know what I mean? You really need to go and hope. I agree with you that they're similar kind of quality, right? But the Belgian league's probably a stronger league than the Polish league. They finished fifth. They weren't amazing over that. I think they've got some weird setup how they go into playoffs and how it's split. So I don't know how that worked. But it's going to be hinging on going over there and avoiding a big defeat. If you can come back with a draw or even a 1-goal defeat, everything's to play for in the second leg.
Kyle, obviously, like you said, with oppositions you've played against recently, but do you think Motherwell can be comfortable enough to compete with Freiburg? I know it's a massive, massive task, but do you think, I'm not going to say toe-to-toe, but do you think you can actually, instead of being like a 7-2 aggregate defeat, it could be potentially like a 2-goal defeat? I'm not saying Motherwell's going to lose, but do you think they can compete against Freiburg?
I feel like with the brand of football we play, I would agree so. Because seen as last season, we won the field to go against any sort of opposition, and that's what you kind of get when it comes to that. Perceive you're not brave, then you won't get results. So, obviously, actually a very good positive is the first leg is at Fir Park, which I would have preferred. So at least we can try and like take a solid like result to Freiburg. But no, I feel like it. I don't even know how to put it. Like folk could be saying, "Oh, they got to the Europa League final last year," but that was last year, so that's irrelevant now. Like, I don't know. Like,
He was up at drinking for the night. I'm not in an alternative universe.
It's a
Come on, it's
Friday.
a bit of a. You're going to hit a glamour game at Fir Park, right? And by the way, you might give them a game at Fir Park. As soon as you go away, it's going to be a whole different story.
Like, let's say hypotheticals, right? Motherwell go through or only lose by a goal, like aggregate, right? If you're competing against a top German European team in the Bundesliga, what's not to say that Motherwell can't go for the Scottish Premiership? I know that sounds bizarre, but there's levels to the actual competition that, again, we could come back to this next week and Motherwell's lost 8-0 and like everybody's all doing it, you know, but, like, surely if you do see something positive, why can that not be the next step for Motherwell rather than being like the usual top three, you know?
I feel like it all comes down to consistency. Like,
Oh, Kyle's gone.
He's going to get another drink.
Typical Forsman, guys. Well, Brian.
Sorry, we're
Oh, all right. Are you free to talk? Are you good?
Yeah, I know guy talking to there, but anyway, we'll go back to it.
Do you remember my question? Because I can't remember my question.
I can't remember your question.
Fuck, right. Well, I remember it now, right? Can you think Motherwell, instead of looking at that top three position, actually go forward and try and improve as a club overall?
I remember what I was saying. It all comes down to consistency because I feel like we play this like attractive brand of football, but we're never going to have the team to stay consistent throughout the full league to ever top it. I know that sounds pure negative to say, but it's realistically it's the harsh truth.
Would you take, let's say you get league phase football again, totally hypothetical, and you finish 6, but with that European money, do you think that would be a better outcome for Motherwell rather than finishing 3rd and getting put out the league, the playoff round, and make Motherwell progress as a club more? Would you take that?
Aye, definitely, because the more you progress in Europe, I feel like the more beneficial will be for the club as a whole. Like we get to play like league football every year. Well, because we've not went down in about 40 years, so we're kind of used to the Premiership. So if you're going into a completely different competition and actually like showing teams what you can do, I feel it would be really beneficial for not just the club but for the team as well.
Mental that Motherwell will survive longer in the Scottish Premiership than Hearts, Hibs and Rangers. That is absolutely mental.
I think he was saying that as a wee dig or Hibs just
Brian, we'll go back to Rangers, but obviously you're going over to Czech Republic. It's a team that Celtic played a good few years ago. It's a Celtic team that won comfortably when they were in a transition period. I know Rangers in a bad spot, but surely this should be comfortable.
It's Rangers, remember. It's never comfortable. We're never comfortable playing away for him. We could lose 2-1 again.
Are you saying this just because of last night, or
No,
after actually
I'm being
listening
serious.
Monday, you'd be a wee bit more?
No, I'm being serious. Our defence is hopeless this new. That's how bad we are. We could lose 1 game soon.
If let's say you've already got St Mirren, the Premier Sports Cup. Let's say you go through in penalties and then lose against Jablonic, whatever they're called. Does Derek McInnes need to be sacked?
No. I would give him till Christmas time, but if it's not improved by Christmas, I would sack him.
But you say it's like 20 minutes ago you would rather Russell Martin, and he also got sacked.
The start of season last season because he won a game. McInnes didn't win a game yet.
Yeah, but what happens if he goes longer than Russell Martin does to win a game? Because remember, Russell Martin was actually undefeated when he gets sacked, apart from the Club Brugge games and the Ghent game.
I would literally sack him.
Well, we'll do a wee recap with you, Brian. What's your score prediction then for next Thursday?
Hopefully 3-1 Rangers.
Is that hopeful, but would be a realism? Do you think it's going to be a loss or what?
Hopefully we'll win.
Well, Josh, obviously you are playing against Rapid Vienna.
Aye.
A game that I think it could be comfortable, not comfortable, favourable for Hearts. What's your thoughts going into that game, and then what's your score prediction?
Like you said, it's not going to be too comfortable, but I think a 2-0 win. I think we're going in the right direction. We've picked up confidence. We've picked up momentum, and I think a 2-0 win will be justified. So that's what I'm going with.
Well, lads, put your money on Rapid VN because he's went with the 2-0 curse. So, yeah, mate, sorry. Darren, you're obviously playing Ghent. Kenny did speak about them, so we will just go straight into your score prediction. And you've seen a score prediction last time because you shat out it in the fucking Thistle one.
Yeah, no. I'll go for a. Hate to say it, but I think a 2-0 defeat.
Do you know what, I actually like that? Do you know why? Because no one ever predicts a club to lose. You know, it's always a victory. Like, I've seen these like Celtic guys thinking we're going to go to PSG and win 1-0 and then we get pumped 7-1. So I'm kind of glad you said that. But Kyle,
we won't speak about my score prediction for the Benfica game.
3-1 Hearts that was, wasn't it?
Aye, 3-1 Hearts. Aye.
Listen, if it finished 2-1 Hearts and the offside goals stood, that could have been a wee bit look better on the scoreline. But
aye,
Kel, you've probably got the hardest tie out of all three clubs here. What do you think your score prediction is going to be against Freiburg?
I'm in the same boat as Dan. I think it will be a defeat. It's just a matter of how much, but I think we'll get beat by about 2-0.
Well, thank you so much, lads.
Just before you finish, right? Do you not think it's going to be so frustrating? And it comes back to everything I keep on saying on every show about how tough our journeys are to get here, right? See, when this Conference League is put together, and you see all the teams in it, there will literally probably be about 12 to 15 teams in there. You'll look at going, our teams are better than that, and we should be in there. And it's just frustrating. Frustrating at the journeys that we get. But
at least you can look. You're going to Germany, you know, rather than going to like Azerbaijan or something, because that's a trip you do not want to take. But aye, lads, thank you so much for coming on. Please hit that like button, subscribe, and obviously if you are listening on Spotify, hit that follow button. It's very much appreciated, and I'll see you all for the next video.